olugendo lw'obulamu lumenya bingi byempiseemu okutuuka wano ate bingi byenkyalaba kuba bingi byekusise ng'ate byetagaze okubikwekula. Mu kitundu ky'emboozi yaffe ekyasooka ne munnamawulire Solomon Sserwanja twasembayo annyonnyodde ku byazzayitamu mulimu guno, ebinyuma, ebisesa, ebinakuwaza n'ebyennyamiza. Mu kuwunzika twali tumusabye atuweeyo ensonga erimu akanigguusa lwaki yandibadde asuulawo omulimu gw'okuddamu okulabikira ku ndazabubaka zaffe oba TV maaso ku lutimbe kalira w'otudde kuba bw'otemya gwasalwa ekitundu ekyokubiri ke kitandike. Eno ye SK Media. N'okutuusa kati abantu bakyebuuza ebibuuzo lwaki wasazeewo okwate ekkubo ove mu mawulire gano.
A very good news anchor, very good news reporter. The field was excited already. Buli omu nga babane tuyina omuntu waffe ku ground.
So why?
Hey, at this time, omutima wagukutudde wakati.
I think it was one of the most difficult decisions I had to make in my entire journalism career and television career. So much so that I have grown up on TV, you know. It's everything I knew. It's, you know, and I felt like I was walking away from part of me. But I know that hard decisions are those that, you know, give us an opportunity to even be better. I had a dream of growing investigative journalism in Uganda. And then I'm thinking what happens when Solomon Sserwanja is gone, when Solomon Kaweesa is gone, the John Allen Namus are gone, the Anasa Nas are gone, you know, the Emmanuel Mutaiziwas are gone, the Frederick Mosisis are gone. What's going to happen to investigative
Dennis Okari?
The Dennis Okari, these powerful investigative journalists. What happens to them when they're gone? You know, this there's always a season a generation that now goes away. Yeah. So what do we leave behind? So my dream was creating a nurturing space to grow investigative journalism, and I think I had that after leaving London. After my tenure at the BBC ended, I came back and I'm like, let me start a home for investigative journalism in Africa. And so we registered the African Institute for Investigative Journalism. And the idea behind this is journalists can be able to come, they are trained, we critique each other's work, we grow them in skills and knowledge around investigative reporting, the art of storytelling, you know, open source investigations, and all these other new skills. The idea also was to provide a quiet home where, you know, away from the noise of the newsroom, people can come and actually work on their projects here in a safe and calm environment.
How have you prepared for Uganda as a country to welcome this? Because this is a very big dream that is going to, investigative is going on another level. Chitegeza stories that tubadde tukola kati kyeyongeddeko, let me say 50%. Now, according to the panic we have as per now, olowooza ogenda kiguza otya our country nga bw'omanyi the panic we have, ebigenda maaso. Sometimes you have to come and talk about to prove this to abantu abali emabega bano abanene betuyita abanene. Like some of them are not ready for these stories nga bwekikyogeddeko. Olowooza tekigenda ku affectinga ng'omuntu akiyimiridde wakati?
I don't think so, because the world is hungry for investigations. We have so many questions that are not answered, and I think it's the role of journalism to answer those questions.
That's true.
So right now, the Auditor General also doesn't know how to answer a question that 1 trillion shillings cannot be accounted for. You remember they did the audits.
Yeah.
The Minister of Finance just did their audit report. They don't know where this money disappeared. The other day, Matia Kasaija was in the house, and they said, "You didn't give the money for buying for vaccines." Like, are you sure I did? So, you know, he was asking Kamabale from the National Medical Stores, "Are you sure? Are you sure this money wasn't given to you?" So we have so many questions, and I think if journalism in Uganda doesn't answer these questions, then would have failed our population, would have failed our nation, because then we are supposed to be the people who are answering those questions. So should we be therefore afraid or scared to answer those questions? Then we would have let down our country. And so this is what we're doing at the Institute actually. We're trying to, we have 5 programs. We have the training and capacity building program, where we train investigative journalists, both young and, you know, grounded. We have the capacity, we have the collaborative investigative journalism program. This is where we get journalists from different media houses to work on a project. And I think this is really important, because investigative journalism shouldn't be about competition, that the other station is better than the other, or the other, this is better than the other. I think that investigative journalism should be about public good.
True.
You know, and we've seen this work in international media houses. I mean, we've seen the BBC collaborate with the Washington Post and the New York Times and Reuters to do mind-blowing investigations. I think the last one they did was the HSBC investigation. And for me, this has really been my dream. How do we, you know, and I teamed up with my colleague Raymond Mujuni on this project. He's really been helpful and handy. And so what the dream that Raymond and I had was, how do we make investigative journalism go beyond competition? That we can get someone from this TV, this newspaper, this radio, and bring them together, because they all have different strengths. So can we ride on their different strengths?
Tuveyo n'ekintu kimu ekiyamba
eggwanga. Nti newe bakale tetwagala, you know, anyone to take ownership. Tujafuna omuntu ali new touch voicing. And we say this work has been done through a collaboration. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that really is at the center of the institute. And Raymond and I are really, really, really happy that we have started up on this project. The other thing that we're doing to support investigative journalism in this country and in Africa at large, we are providing small grants to investigative journalists. Now, we know that so many stories die in the newsroom because there is no funding.
Oh yeah, true.
You know, you do a project proposal, you present it to the editors, and they say, this is the budget for the entire newsroom. Why should I give it to you in one project? So we understand and we are alive to the fact that because of funding, there's so many stories that have died. So what we're doing is we are doing what we call crowdsourcing. So we're getting money from different sources and putting it into one envelope. That if Solo wants to do an investigation, you come and present and you say, let's partly fund your investigation, or work with you and fully fund it. And then we can have that story executed so that it helps us as a country. And we're really excited about that. We're also exploring different funding models for investigative journalism, away from relying on the mainstream.
Oh yeah.
So we're exploring all that. But also we have a program of research. Research as a tool. We're using investigative journalism as a research tool.
Oh yeah.
So katika nkubulireko omanyiba research abasinga bakozesa ordinary tools of questionnaires.
Nagenda tugenze mu field tukubya amasimu awo
naye abantu abasinga baagala nnyo okwogera ne bannamawulire.
They feel comfortable by the way.
They feel comfortable. Ate n'ekirala bakubulira amazima.
Kuba ayagala ekintu kikibeere aired out.
Exactly.
Bw'akiraba ku mpewo ne waba tewali nnyo kikoleddwa feeling at ease.
Ati ba research abambagamba questionnaire tick. And they may miss out.
Waddemba okulimbira awo.
Exactly. So we have now developed investigative tools to aid our research program. And we just released a research paper called the Digital Voter Manipulation Report, how political players used social media to manipulate the election. It's an interesting one. You need to read it. Just interesting. We did this with the lead author Stone Songa Samuel, and we are funded by the Conrad Administrative Time, and they did an amazing job on that. So we also have the research program. But lastly, we also have the legal support program, where if a journalist is arrested, and this comes over my arrest.
Wafuna experience.
Yes, my experience. So we come in to support investigative journalists who are arrested in line of duty. We think that, you know, sometimes media houses take ages to respond. What happens if you're arrested and no one knows?
Nange katalu munkwatibwekaawo nga noonyereza oba story gye nakolako nga bomu zikyasaawo tuteekateeka ate World Cup endala ne ngenda nnoonyereze baala eno nnyingirayo ntya nga tebankebedde we bateerawo amateeka poliisi oyingirayo otya naye ntadde police station nga sikebeddwa ekiro ekyo Kayihura n'atambula buli wamu kata nnoonyezebwa essaawa ezo
kakati gwe solo nno bwe bakwata eggwanga lino lyonna ligenda kufa negamba release solo. But imagine if a journalist at Mighty Fire FM in Kitgum,
wa radio wa mukulu
radio pwabe ne Baba FM yone omunde ne bakwata ani akujja
teri akumanyi
media house egamba wa tetulina
tetulina nabalooya
ka radio station kaliyo Kenya bweyi noekyo ndowooza nti, and that's a very important thing. Defending investigative journalism.
Era emikutu egisinga gukolekayo mwana wattu
era
kyekyo tebaziina
kyekyo. So gye bujjako maaso awo twagala zimbayo safe homes. Bw'olwo bannamawulire bangi abatiisatiisibwa. Last week waliwo yankwe nangamba bamunoonya era ngayagala institute emuyambeko, naye gye bujja mu maaso twagala kufunayo ettaka tuteekeyo safe homes. Nti journalist Munnamawulire investigative journalist waba alina story gy'akoze nga bamuyigga tukuteekeyoko
nga bannamateeka bwe balwanirira ensonga
obeereyoko osukokakkaneko ne famire yo. Tumanyi nti bintu si byange wawadde ogamba it's risky, naye woteekawo safe space bwekyo ne bakakkanako, then after that maybe ne baddayo. It's something that we're looking forward to.
How do you look at the issue of standing on the truth? Because of course it comes with bribery. Sometimes oli omunene ajamanya nti, you know, Solomon ayina kyali mu kunkolako ate nga of course most of the stories have lots of money, you know. Olowooza you as a person you can stand it, but some of the rest basobola okutendwa yagamba why zajja ntemedde wakati kankiteeka nkiveemu muleka ayise
awo ndowooza we tugiramu mu kuba nti amawulire it's a service kwa abasinga bajja batunuulidde ssente naye bw'ekitwala as a service. I think simanyi solo kyolowooza
omuntu kamweko solo. I think waliwo ekintu bagamba nyinga ber Catalonia.
awo tuli mu lukyole
ekigambo ekyo kitegeeza good name is better than riches.
Yeah.
You don't know how I felt when the world celebrated me when they learned that I was dropping the ball. I felt loved, I felt celebrated, I felt honored.
Say that you felt like you should have given us some more years.
I felt whoa when the world says you have done well, you have run your race.
Emotion.
We celebrate you. You know, we honor you. So upon that, I stand that not even money can buy it. So imagine they have bribed you and someone leaks the story that you're being bribed. Ngabaina nebifananyi
bakukwasa
akavangata bakakwasizao
okuludda ogukapugwawo
ate kati nga tuzekwetaga TV, social media.
Oh yeah, true.
Ka WhatsApp,
ka
video.
Naye kaba ka still picture kamu olumu oli ne bwakubanga bakuwa bbaasi erimu evidence tolina bw'obakakasa nti abaayi byabadde bipapula.
Naye kati imagine w'okakasa abantu solo kibanna byabadde bipapula bibino nga bagamba
otulimba lwaki tewabibikkulidde wali
okitegeera. Kakati obadde ogambye ekya bribery muganda wange kaba kaweddemu Because ultimately you have a name to protect, virtues of journalism to defend. You have that, journalism, like Solo said, is a service.
Oh yeah.
You know how you
abantu
feel when you're
bakutunuulira
betraying
baba
your
balina
service?
kye bakusuubiramu.
So
Should
there are
we
so
say
many-
it comes with also passion?
listen, it comes with having a moral obligation to serve.
True.
Okay.
Yeah.
And sometimes even when the cameras are not on, when no one is watching you, can you actually do the same?
Are you true to
You know?
yourself?
Can you be true to yourself? I watched it again.
Oh yeah.
There's a story that someone brought me 100 million.
Be batusuubizaako n'otuwa amayumba okuli ebyapa. Sebo emboozi tuzireka awo. Naye I would rather die in a rental than okulya mu bantu olukwe.
Do
It's
people
usually-
know that? Do people know
You
that?
see,
yeah.
that Solo, what he's saying,
Mm.
I think Luganda luchijayo bulungi kulya mu bantu lukwe.
See your yes.
That is deep. That ojja kusula mu nyumba eyo.
Ng'okakasiza ddala emboozi gye wabadde okola abantu bali enkya bagenda bagoba ku ttaka naye wagimize.
Bakita kyojja mu miro.
Kyojja mu miro tosobola kwebaka mirembe. By the way, it haunts you.
Okitegeera. So kakati fe abategedde amawulire as a service, don't think we've not been tried. We've been tried, and this is a message to young journalists. And I've had so many people telling me, we want to be like you, we want to be like you, we want to be like you. Sometimes you have to pass those tests.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? You've got to pass those tests that then you stand on those virtues and people will give you money because you've stood on those virtues. So, investigative journalism, in my view, stands on public interest and trust and truth. Don't betray your country. Kubobusente bujja kuviirako ekizibu. Oyinza ozirya leero enkya n'ogenda ew'omugaga nga alina kamera nga 10. Amba kiteena mukama wange ne tepu yiino ne kadi yiino ngikuwadde shayi.
Nze sikyabyetaaga bino. Nze kasita ompadde akange.
Byensoma okufuna obireese.
Aka
No struggles.
mu byensoma okufuna
Solo, away from bino ebintu ebiri bize nnyo, nkozeeko naawe several times and I've seen the love you have for suits. Did oyambalako ku bivaavava bino? Solo ndoza kati trademark yo ya suiti and you love suits. Nali nkulabyeko nga tugenda okusoma amawulire. I think we were in Kabale. Tugenda ku district edition, but obudde bwe wamala okuselectinga ky'onooyambala nze bwammala okwambala n'okwekolako makeup yenna agenda ku set. As in, tell me about that.
No, I think that, I've grown up on television all my life, like I've told you. I have literally, gena kumpeo ngoli smart. Nemgana ngolaba walusimbi wa masamasa olu.
Yeah.
Like, olumuntu nyenga ne skin ye namuka reflection.
Omutunulamu ne weeraba. Omusajja bakeera mugoloza paasi.
Olaba zambaali ennaku zino. Bless your mukasa. But the thing is, because that's our world.
Kwe goyinza okugamba mwakwata contract ne Plascon ekeera basiiga ka vanish.
Kakati nga olaba, I think a suit is a uniform of journalism, in my view. That every time we put on that suit and go on air, we carry a responsibility.
Oh yeah.
Right? And just like you see how surgeons put on, the whole...
N'omulaba mbi n'omanya oyo agenda kulongoosa.
Every time we put on those suits, we put on a responsibility to be true, like to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, to be fair, to be balanced, and to deliver. So for us, suits are beyond the looks, but it's a responsibility. And two, you know, it also is about branding.
Okay.
How do you want the world to know you?
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to be known for just being a shabby journalist? And that's the problem with some of the journalists we have in this country. Let me say this.
I
need to tell you something. I think that journalists in this country need to start looking good.
Oh yeah, true.
And you guys put on jeans on Monday. They put on.
Najiram open.
And I'm thinking, guys, it's Monday. It doesn't matter whether they're going for a press conference or not. Look good.
They were a suit, but no simple but smart.
Yes. Look good. Honorable. Like that's example. Tuli yao, I think nali ku NBS how. Tugenze ku office of the Prime Minister ku 2 Twin Towers is But that time waliwo story aliyocha. There's a minister, I don't remember which was that. Abana bafu mu motoka ne bamugwira bonna. Honorable baze baiti, I stood aside. Usuti yange ne nzira wali. Omukazi abali wa nanengera. I don't want interviews. I don't want interviews. Najaga, Mr. Sserwanja, how are you? Ma'am, I am very fine, ma'am. And I've been really waiting for you to have an interview with you. Nangamba, you come. Nankwata omukono. Netuyingira lift. Nantwala paka waggulu. Nangamba gamba cameraman wajje. Netugenda live ku NBS. Nga ampadde the interview. Kati abali wansi ne bagira ba ku screen zaki.
Za OPM.
Okay, I am Kazona today in an interview. What does that go to tell us? That deep calls unto deep.
Yeah.
I think
yes.
What that means is that omuntajja kujja ngoli mbi jacket otuyanye owunya oyambadde biki oze ku tajja era omuntu ajagende wa Solomon Kaweesa ali wali nga mukakamu nga amanyi kyayogera alabika bulungi abantu we bajja okuwa ekitiibwa oba okitegeera so engeri bannamawulire gye beetwalamu nti omuntu abadde agenda okuwa emitwalo 10 agambe sajja omulabi
ali mu suuti 10 n'azitandika nti
akakadde kakano nywa kacaayi nti oba ogenze ku Serena banne bannamawulire mutandika okwetalako ku Serena
obwemanyiza ebintu
kacaayi
naffe tukolerawo naye ogira oluusi n'ogamba ayi sowaani y'emmere tugende tugirye ne tuyingirawo
so kakati bannamawulire tumanyi tuve wala manyi abantu bayisa nnyo abantu bannamawulire ne babayisaamu amaaso olumu bali justified nti osanga omuwala oli munnamawulire oyambadde kajiini enviri ziri eri okaze lipstick alise eno kwegamba nga tewako
bagenza awo ku workshops bavulubanidde bukyayi obulyawo
okitegeera biswaza
omuntu bagenda okumaliza baga tulinayo omutwalo waneeno imbwe nna ne baguyiikira as in that ekyo kinyiiza nnyo tebeewa value.
In fact, awolabire njala weviirayo. There is a time I phoned one of the journalists. I think we were signing for trying a press conference at Serena. Nga signing every kitundu. She missed out. Yali wa TV station name. Olutalo lwaviirayo ddala. Ne bayingira munda ne bakolera ddala olutalo. So it was weird and so shameless.
Obuntu obutonotono obwo.
Kakajigamba. Kakati unze wenyambale suit neteekamu engatto neteekamu essaawa neteekamu nga ndabika bulungi era omuntu ajja okujja ewange abeera ku level nti nobeera mu masekkati g'abannamawulire banno
they stand out
a different way.
Sserwanja oli otya walo yangamba onanga Sserwanja kati oli iddi nga ndi smart nemugamba mukama wange ndi iddi ndi executive director ndi CEO ndi yonna nangamba otuvuddemu nti sinaba bavaamu naye nkyaliwo but kyenjagala okuggumiza y'ensonga y'okwefaako labika bulungi bunya bulungi weyise yogera bulungi
nabako
ekirala Munnamawulire twogera tutya it should be beyond the dress code
opaswedding oti omuntu akuwe interview ne bwaba teyandikuwadde
cultivate a culture omanya abantu tobasindika nnyo bazze then oba ogenza okukola interview togamba what do you have to say about this biki bye badde oyogera honorable
nziriramu awo
you've had it
honorable akonkamisize
oyina gamba osetinze interview naga tunuulire obadde kanzirire be prepared do some research
be unique
okitegeera
Standing out.
yes kati omukulu nga Kaweesa Solomon Kaweesa omuganda wange muto wange buli omu amanyi mu ggwanga lino lyonna Uganda tewali asinga Solomon Kaweesa Luganda
onankola amalala
fenna tukimanyi
tetubitegeera oluusi
nti ajja kujja because he has crafted himself
ne voicing ye
like that oba okitegeera his voice his tonation amanyi strength ye so agikwata nagamba no one is going to get better than me in this I'm going to give it my best
maybe even about that kwezuula kumanya where you belong abamu ekibaleetera obuzibu ali kukini but when you discover where your strength is you put all your energy there
of course and that's it
and it's the beauty
that's it you see and not you see that like as I've told you an example Solomon Kaweesa
oh yeah
buli omu amanyi Kaweesa nti this is the best guy wano wetukolera waliwo omukube benkola nabo olumu se bakugeegenya nayogera ebigambo ngamba gundi afuna obuklip obwo n'abumemorizinga awo n'asuka nawa intro awo nemugamba muganda wange
balabira TikTok nga babugezaako naye nga bukyagaanye
kwegamba and then you create that niche
oh yeah
you see and just be that person that someone will actually you'll attract the same what can I say so going back to what you're saying of putting on suits and looking good and all that it's about branding it's about telling people that you can still value journalists
Solo, are you going to miss journalism?
I am going to continue doing journalism.
Active journalism.
I am going to
Nti Solo uli ku TV
maybe I think the question is am I going to leave am I going to miss TV?
Yeah.
Maybe we take it in that line.
Because we will continue doing investigative reports here. Very, very solid investigative pieces.
Ne Solo wa foli nti live at 9 atandise.
NBS live at 9. It's just like walking away from part of, like I told you already, like leaving television is going to be like walking away from a part of me.
Did you have that moment of breaking down?
I just had that moment of me getting to think that I'm going to wake up and I'm not going to run on TV and say, hey, stand by Solo or 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 on air. And it was just like it's quite emotional leaving television. I should add, it's what can I say? I miss so many things about especially live TV is funny.
Yeah, true.
There is no take twos.
Ochivuga lumu.
One of my favorite times on live TV. Waliwo walusimbi we yali kumpeo. Ekigambo ne kimulema. Naye kino ekigambo kimberedde.
Nakyogerera waawo.
Angamba mubitegedde. But live TV, I think Solo, you've had those moments.
I know the experience.
Yeah, but in fact,
take away chidara.
So live TV is funny, but there is no time for you can't make good. Okubi embogoji okoze chi. Like you made a mistake.
Nebi muba kugamba bugambi by the way no okakasa nayo gete bwintu.
Ate abantu ngateba kusasira
agambe achugira ati.
Nebaka salamu. There is a time Sheila we bayona gamba together. Nebaka salira even before she went to there.
So I can tell you, live TV is interesting. It has its highs and lows. I think I've had my time on TV and I created my own brand. And when I was doing live TVs, I told people that news is not about being very welcome. No. Yeah, welcome to
I think
live at 9.
Solo generation yaffe ndoza kyekyusizza okuva kuba Frank abo gemawulire ago ag'okuba tough ku set fena tugenda oyogera freely n'onyumya emboozi n'abantu.
Exactly. With a smile. Ne 2 seconds
n'osaagirako.
Waliwo story gy'okola naawe n'ogamba kiki kino.
Nzijjukira lumu I think ani yali asoma yali Farida ne kuba egendako story bite yasembayo ng'eri so funny. Farida yaseka in that story yaddako teyasoma lead bazanya story lead n'agitubuulira.
In my view, television is about and journalism is about. It's beyond because we are first human beings, right? Before we're journalists. So if it's a story and it's sad, you've got to. And I think some people have been saying that I'm overly emotional on TV, but I'm human first. If it's a sad story, you don't expect me to come back with a neutral face. Say moving on, no.
You first have to compliment about it.
You just sometimes you don't even have to compliment that your facial
expression is enough.
And then the public gets to appreciate you that you don't only read the scripts on the teleprompter, but you're part of the community that forms these stories.
Kuba bw'osoma you are conversing with someone in their mudiro liewali.
Exactly. So toswa kubeera nti wagwe nti omani no. You've got to be in sync with the story. You've got to live the story as a news anchor.
Bwe mba nsomesa abaana eyo ntera bagamba nti kifuule nti oli mu mboozi ya ladies and gentlemen. Bane mulina bye mukola naye ninawo bye mbagamba wano like kyekirina okubeera mu mind. Solomon, ebimu ku bibuuzo bye twandibadde nga abasembayo okubuuza kati oli mu kino ekintu nkulaba okola weekends olumu obaawo n'olw'omukaaga as in are you going to still get family time or for the first time you're getting family time?
You know,
naye amawulire gatubuza.
I know. Omanyi amawulire tukola paka kiro
n'okomawo ewaka ne weebaka bwebasi.
Olina morning show ku makya
okitegeera naye nga you were the last person to leave the studio yesterday naye olina morning show ate olina ogikola. I think that I don't know how I can say this, but I think that the newsrooms across this country need to start a very, very serious conversation around family for their journalists.
True.
Kubokera kumasha sawa 2 mwinayo morning meeting.
Kiba kitegeeza 11 yadda ku 2 kitegeeza 11 n'okubanga ozuukuse.
Exactly. Nova no beating a jam nedda ku 2. Kati ova mu newsroom meeting ye ne bakwasayini. N'okola.
Onoonya source ova ku ono odda ku oli.
Okitegeera. Wova onookomawo mu newsroom n'owandiika script. N'ogivoicinga, no-editing akatena akuli bubi, wisdom akuli bubi, n'oteekayo eya ku ssaawa emu.
Owesatu eri tennatuuka naye yange script eriwa.
Leeta script no kati weesanga ng'omaze okukola story ng'eguddeyo ssaawa 3.
nga ne kabiite tonnamukubirako ku ssimu okuva ku
makya essimu nga leero
ate bano si be baagala okubakyekingako
tafuddeko olunaku
takyanjagala kirabe katandiika ali ku bibye
naye mazima kikulidde because you see journalism especially television is not an 8 to 5 job. It's passion. You sometimes leave the newsroom at 10 oba okitegeera olumu nekisho kyonna producing ekiro
olina kyoyagala enkyoteeketeeke okisange ofunzeeko
kakati ate ne bagamba newsrooms ezimu olina kukola from Monday to Saturday ne bakuwa one day off nogamba ne do off emu nina okwoza engoye nina okukola ki
nina okulaba ku banywanyi
naye olunaku n'abaana n'ekyo nze ndowooza nti newsrooms especially eziri mu TV zirina okuteekawo embeera nti abantu be bakozesa balina okufuna engeri gye babawamu extra time oba kubanga ffe tetukola 8 to 5 tukola ne beyond so omuntu omuwe ennaku 3 n'omugamba just work for 3 days 3 naye nga waabazze
aba productive solo nebyo tuyitamu olumu twetaaga otukamfatinga Solomon bannamawulire just nti wane Uganda tebiriwo nnyo naye bannamawulire bakomitinze suicide olw'ebintu bye bayiseemu embeera gye tuyitamu n'okeera ku makya simanya bakubye amasasi abantu 2 remember Westgate we yabeererayo nze naliyo naakena nga we are students there imagine ebintu bye twalaba nze I spent 3 months nga sagala kulaba ku kintu kyeru nga kya red nga bakirya ngira bwensanga yiwa akenga akamyufu mu girasi ndabanga agendo nnyo omusaya I felt bad kwegamba I lost it psychologically and emotionally kwegamba embeera eyo gye tuyitamu kyovola bandoza bannamawulire bannaffe abamu they resort to drugs abamu ne batandika sigala abalala omwenge nga mu bbaala tavaayo. Have you seen that?
Raymond Mujumu, who is the deputy director here, penned a personal experience, and we've since filmed his story around him covering the Kaweesa massacre and how it affected him. Ultimately, the conversation around mental health in newsrooms needs to start.
True.
I think at the BBC they have psychiatrists.
We don't have them in Uganda. Kuyambako bannamawulire.
Yeah, they are there.
I think ndoza gye gimu kati ku mirimu solo abavuddeyo gye mulina okutandika okukolako.
Yeah. No, I think that's a very important thing you've said. Mental health should be seen as a critical component of the newsroom. These people bebali ku front line. Bebalaba omusaayi, bebawulira amasasi, bebagenda nga ne basanga omwana bamusazeeko omutwe. They have to file the story. Bebalaba defilement cases.
Gwe wamusindiseeyo naye omuga audience tejja biraba naye wamututteyo n'abiraba but ayambiddwa tekiva mu bwongo.
Tewali amuyambako
kwezaawo.
Yeah.
Solo nze nagwako mu ambush nga tuli ne Raymond Mujuni alabika yagikunyumizaako and we're in the middle of bullets. Imagine how we felt at that moment. Ninga at the same time tulina okuva mu amadika tukole. So ekintu ekyo kikubeerako ebimu bitufuukira ebirooto ebyentiisa. The audience doesn't know. Nenga tubeereyo nga ojjukira story gye wayiseemu mu lunaku. Ogenda okuzukuka nga n'amaziga gaakuyiseemu dda. So I think newsrooms ke kaseera abatukulira balowooza. I think baba bakiwulidde ngera bali batwagaliza balina okirowoozaako. Ndoza naawe stories olina nnyingi z'okoze.
No, absolutely, I can't agree with you more because mental health needs to be at the center of the newsroom. And I think this is an investment that every newsroom needs to have.
Oh yeah.
Needs to make. We need to help journalists to download off all these things after they have covered major traumatic stories. Think about the people who covered the 2010 bombings. What they saw when they arrived on site.
Byatusangawo wennyini awo at that moment.
So imagine.
So it's
it
something
took a
terrible.
toll on them.
Tekyatuvaamu nakati abangi kikyatulimu. I don't know abantu abasinga ndooza we bava ne bagwa edda lusolo.
Yeah. So newsrooms need to invest in mental health. And I think you've raised something. I think as the institute we need to have something around mental health, to provide psychosocial support
For journalists.
for journalists who have gone through traumatic experiences and covering
But-
some of those stories.
How is it with security? Because of late we've had a journalist that was killed from some media station. Yafiira yafiira bakiyita batya ku ground ku job.
Enfaaye yali ekyalimu ebibuuzo bingi, tetwamanya nnyo the truth behind. Tukyabuusabuusa oba kyali because of work or something. So ebigambo bye bisembayo byandibadde bigambo ki?
I think a recent bio for me is the future of investigative journalism is bright. I envision that the African Institute for Investigative Journalism will one day be seated on 20 acres plus with a state-of-the-art facility that will support journalists, investigative journalists, to grow them, to interest them, to support them. And the Institute is here to support you. This Institute is a home for you. So I want to see journalists working on projects coming to do work. I want to see journalists who come here and critique Solomon Kaweesa's investigation he put and say we should have done this better, we can do this. I want you to come. But also the Institute is going to be doing mind-blowing investigations. We are going katite tulina simanyi invisible handy power call from above, the story is not going to air and all that. Wano tugenda kola real investigative journalism. Era njagala okugamba bannamawulire abali really serious about investigative reporting. Bajje ku Institute. Let them come to the Institute, we start working. There's so many things that have to be put out there that are not. They come, we start doing real journalism, away from police press conference, parliamentary committees, and the usual things, Makerere University graduations. I think that the world is tired of that. I think that the world now needs critical stories, in-depth stories, stories that are going to cause a change in our community.
Need to evolve.
And therefore, they should come and work. I think I'm calling for partnerships with media houses. Come, let's work together, and we build this whole institute. So I'm really grateful. I'm still in journalism. I'm still going to do reporting. You will still see me doing investigations and asking hard questions, but from here. And I'm also here to train and impart the knowledge and skill that I have got for the last 13 years of my journalism career to young journalists, to even experienced journalists. Let's grow investigative journalism for public interest.
Okay, before you go, for me this would be the bigger question out there. Are you more like in the category of an NGO, much as you are an institution? Because, someone out there want to know, yes, you're saying, let us come, but people may want to know, are there charges involved in certain trainings? What is free and what is not for free?
Interesting. Right now we're registered as a non-profit organization. And non-profit organizations actually are supposed to support people. So you should come. Investigative journalists should come. Let's create. I've created a space for all of us to grow you. Come, let's create, let's investigate, let's do some good work there. So here it's free. We're a non-profit organization. You should just come and work as an investigative journalist. This is a home for investigative journalism. Editors, reporters, data analysts, lawyers. Come, let's do work. Together we can do more. I have created this space for us to work together. And the public, come, because some of these stories are in the public. come and we create, come and we put government to account, come and we put out the hard questions. It's not going to be about PR here. It's about real journalism. We're not nursing anyone's egos. We're going to ask the tough questions. We're going to do real investigations. We're going to do special reports. It's real journalism here. The difference is that maybe we can call it day to journalism, right?
Okay, abalabi ba SK Media basibule.
Sabo mwami Solomon Kaweesa nkwebaza era nsense busebu.
Akonga wakakwata bukusu.
Nkwebaza okunchazaako ku SK Media. Naye ate nandiyagadde nti tukolagane okukyusa eggwanga lyaffe. Ffenna tulina obusobozi okuteekawo ka contribution eri eggwanga lyaffe. Kati ffe tuli bannamawulire Solo. Naffe tulina kye tuyinza okukola okukyusa eggwanga lyaffe. N'olwekyo nze naawe waliwo kye tukola. So tukwasaganyize wamu okubaako kye tukola okufuula eggwanga lino eggwanga lye twenyumirizaamu nga buli omu akola ekimugwanidde okukola. Neeranza se.
Okay, tweyanziza nnyo tweyanzege. Joan, abantu basiibule.
Yeah, abali aba SK Media, before we say a bye-bye, Mwami Solomon, tweyanziza nnyo. Thank you so much for removing that lamp out. Once Wechitanda, wherever the data Tala, and thank you for being one of those people that are bringing the light and putting something on the journalism field and reality, most especially because I think we were lacking a bit there. Abalabi bafaba SK Media mwe balikuanga mutwe kumirako nga bulijjo. Subscribe, share, comment, put your compliments down, share something about anything you'd like us to bring forth. Thank you so much.
Otyo nange sina bingi byakubagamba okujjako okwebaza mukulu Sserwanja okukkiriza najja n'ayanja ensonga ze ku SK Media. N'olala tujja kuba tumuleeta ate platform yaffe weeri stories ez'enjawulo ze tunaakolanga wano nga twegasseeko ku kibinja kino tujjanga kuba naffe tuziteekayo muzinyumirwe muzirabe mu maloboozi ate amanyuvu okukamala. Mbakubiriza kimu akapeesa ako akamyufu kanyigeeko yongera otugoberera ebirungi bikyajja ate era biri mu maaso sijja kusukka waawo. Amanya n'eddoboozi nze Solomon Kaweesa, Mukama Katonda abakuume. Wangi gye mpise bingi bye ndabye ebineewuunyisa n'olumu bbanga lyeyo mu kibira literi ddoboozi lya muntu neneewuunya ekisa Mukama ky'olina gye ndi ate era neneebuuza tisinga tabadde ggwe ddala museno Mukama nandibadde ntya kwata omukono tonvangamu